The real breaking point, when they took away my control over testing. This was, I would say, the moment when I knew that I was done. We were sitting in a meeting, and they casually told us that we would have to start rotating testing amongst all of the instructors. No reason, no warning, just like that. Something we have been doing for months at this point in time was just over. So here's the deal. I've been going back and forth about whether to make this video for a while. Today, I'm just going for it. Completely unscripted, raw, because that's the only way to tell this story properly. There's been a lot of politics and red tape surrounding why I'm leaving my job as a CDL instructor at a state college. And while I'm not going to be naming names, I am going to lay it all out. The good, the bad, and the absolutely ridiculous. So one of the first big things that happened, we had the skip shifting incident. For those of you who don't know, skip shifting is essentially, let's say you're in 8th gear, you're running down the road at 40 miles an hour, we'll say. Car pulls out in front of you or the light changes, you have to slow down gradually. Well, you can actually hit the brakes, slow your speed down enough. Let's say it pulls you down to 22 miles an hour. You can actually just bump it over from 8th gear and go into 6th gear. So pop it out, bring it over, RPM up, bam, you're in 6th. If they come in and they're good at upshifting and downshifting, why do we have to beat a dead horse for the next 2 or 3 weeks? So essentially, I would have certain students doing that, and not every student would. We have some students in there who are struggling, in all honesty, with downshifting, upshifting, whatever else. So we would just have them focus on upshifting and downshifting. So there was this one incident whenever we had a student in the class. Long story short, they wanted to learn skip shifting. I told them respectfully, let's just get you caught up first on downshifting. Once you're good from there, we'll have you actually downshifting at that point in time. So fast forward one day, they're on the yard, this particular student, and she goes up to my coworker and asks them, hey, can you take me out there and teach me how to skip shift? Like, Chris won't show it to me. And they're just over there like, whatever Chris isn't doing, like, we're not gonna really do that. So they come up to me that afternoon after everybody leaves, and they're like, hey, so we hear that you're teaching people skip shifting. Yeah, I am. Well, don't do that. Well, what do you mean don't do that? Like, I've been teaching people. I've had no issues with this. They're just like, well, yeah, but some students are going to struggle with it, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, respectfully, I'm the lead driving instructor. Like, I'm going to continue teaching skip shifting to the ones that I determine, are viable for the skip shifting. No point in beating a dead horse, going to the same things. So that's the end of it. No big deal. I walk away from it. I'm the lead driving instructor. I made that call. Fast forward probably about a week later, I get a call from my boss randomly. Phone rings. My boss is like, hey, you need to come in here for a meeting afterwards. I just need to talk to you, after lunch. No big deal. I go over there. Man, I walk into a meeting with my boss, who is the director, as well as the vice president. So I walk in there, sit down, and it's all about skip shifting. They're wanting to know why I'm steering away from the curriculum, why I'm teaching something that isn't in the approved curriculum, blah, blah, blah. Telling them, long story short, like, it's viable information. They need to know how to do this. And we just keep falling down a rabbit hole. They beat me, a million ways from Sunday on telling me why we're not going to do skip shifting, why it's not viable, blah, 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 blah. People who have never been in a truck, people who don't know the first thing about driving a truck are telling me what is beneficial and what's not viable. So at that point in time, it is what it is. I had no leg to stand on, so I just, went through and told them, I'm not going to anymore. Started telling my students, that, hey, sorry, I can't teach you this anymore. Up there, the higher-ups got upset at me for doing this, and it's not approved curriculum. So they start calling up there, trying to figure out, why can we not learn this? And then they pull me back in the office, chew my ass again, because why am I telling the students that I can't teach them this because they said that? Like, they literally wanted me to lie to the students and say, well, that's just not approved curriculum, so we're not going to teach that anymore. And then we have the coffee stop incident. By the way, do me a favor. If you're liking this unscripted style, drop me a comment with the word truth or hit that like button. Let me know if you want more videos like this. This one still blows my mind. So one morning, a student asked if we could stop for coffee and breakfast. I told him, sure, straight up. Whenever you hop on the truck, you have 30 minutes of driving time for that day. So by the time that we pull out, drive 8 minutes up the road, stop over here, you run aside, grab your coffee. If it's been 19 minutes since the time we left, you've got 11 minutes left. We're going to drive down the road and switch out. Personally, I see no issue with this. We have 3 other people in the truck who also have their time. As long as you're not intruding on their time, I see no issue with what you do with your time. I mean, as long as I personally think that you're doing fine and you're driving and you're really going to have no setbacks, I could care less at that point in time. Maybe it's the wrong mindset or something. Sure, maybe. I'm not sure. But to me, again, I see no issue. And if I am wrong, do me a favor. Comment below, wrong. But there's always a but. Probably next class after that, so about 3-4 weeks, somewhere around there, management got wind of it. And suddenly, we have a meeting one day, and long story short, I'm getting my ass chewed, man. Like, I mean, straight up, they're over here like, hey, by the way, I'm hearing that we're stopping over here at the truck stop in the morning time. We're not doing that anymore. Why are we doing that?
They look thirsty! Well, let's give them something to drink!
I'm like, I mean, really, what's the deal? They're like, well, we have a no stop policy.
Oh, no, you don't!
Okay, where is that? Because that's the first time hearing of this. Well, I mean, apparently there's no policy for that. It's just one of those things to where I say we're not doing it, so we're not doing it. So I'm like, okay, so what do I do whenever I have a grown man that says they need to stop for a bathroom break? They say, well, don't we have a bathroom out there at the yard? I'm like, yeah, but we're out there for 2 hours. What if somebody has to, well, tell them to hold it until we get back? Really? Okay, I mean, blew my mind on that one because A, how do you tell a grown man that paid all this money for the school?
I'm about to pee my pants.
To tell them, no, sorry, man. I know you paid all this money and you want to stop to use the bathroom or get a drink because you're thirsty or you didn't have enough time to get breakfast this morning and you're starving to death, but nope, like we're not going to stop. I mean, I can understand, if we were screwing other people along the way out of their time or something, but it was just, I really don't even know. This particular student, he aced his test on the first try. So, I mean, really no big deal there. If this sounds familiar, if you ever dealt with any kind of ridiculous workplace rules like this, let me know in the comments. But the real breaking point, when they took away my control over testing. This was, I would say, the moment when I knew that I was done. We were sitting in a meeting, and they casually told us that we would have to start rotating testing amongst all of the instructors. No reason, no warning, just like that. Something we have been doing for months at this point in time was just over. So for months, I had personally taken all of the students over there to their CDL test. I knew their strengths, their weaknesses, how to calm their nerves right before the exam. I mean, I personally, according to what all my students said, I was the best choice amongst all of them to go over there. Then out of nowhere, I'm told we will be rotating who takes the students to their test. The biggest thing is, we talked about it amongst ourselves. I know that I didn't complain to upper management about anything. Both of my coworkers, neither one of them complained because they didn't want to take them over there. They didn't really care for the state trooper at all, and I had a very good working rapport with him. So my whole thing of none of us complained. Why does it matter to anyone in the office who takes them over there as long as they are going over there? And the main thing was we all tried to poke and prod at it to get some kind of answers as far as why. But the whole thing that we were told was, I'm your boss. I said that's how we're going to do it. And it has to do with my vision. What kind of an answer is that? Why do you have to micromanage to the point to where you're over here dictating who takes the students over here to test? As long as we're not complaining, I see no issue with it. My job is the driving instructor. Nobody is driving whenever we're taking them all over here to test anyways. So, I mean, and usually, based on statistics, 80% of the ones who fell due to the parallel. So it's not even on the driving anyways. It makes no sense. We all ask why, they refuse to give any of us an answer. And then, probably one of the most recent ones. So every year we have to do a PPE, essentially. It's just a little evaluation we all do. We have to list out extra responsibilities that we're going to take, extra goals, stuff like this. We had to set like 3 of each, no big deal. Do it every single year. So we come up to one to where I'm having trouble. Well, my boss didn't like one of my goals. No big deal. So I told her, I'd go back to the house and I'd just work on a new goal essentially, and we'd go with it from there. So my coworker actually has the bright idea to where he wants to set a target for a 65% first time pass rate. Now our first time pass rate, in all honesty, I mean, it's hovered around 40 to 60%. I'd have to actually run the numbers to see exactly where we are. Our overall pass rate, though, within 3 tests falls at 97%. So we have a great overall pass rate. So whenever he sets the first time pass rate at 65%, I'm up in arms about it. Because the main thing, we cannot account for the students' nerves. We can't account for how they're going to do under stress, pressure, whatever else. Most of them stay up way too late on that test night because they're so stressed out they can't sleep. So we cannot factor into any of this. There would have been times, in all honesty, to where I would have laid a $100 bill on someone going up there and passing. At that point in time, they go up there, their nerves get the best of them, and they fail. And it was probably the best one of that class who failed strictly because of nerves. So to set a goal at 65% for the first time pass rate is crazy. And it's not so much that I'm just being a Debbie Downer, it's that our annual raise is tied to this PPE. If we meet our PPE, we get our annual raise. If we do not meet our PPE, we do not get our annual raise. So whenever my boss says this, she's like, oh, that's a good team goal for everybody. What? A team goal? Like, no, you're crazy. Like, I'm not doing, no, there ain't no way. And then everyone has the audacity to say, well, this is a team effort. Are you not on board with this as a team? Like, do not put me in. I want a 100% first time pass rate. So if you look at the statistics though, it is not going to happen. Like, there are way too many variables involved here to where we just cannot make it work. And then now I'm suddenly the bad guy because everyone is against me and everything. So I tell them very plainly, like, I will sit here and do a 80% first time pass rate for the driving skills test alone. If they make it to the driving, I will set 80%. They're like, no, first time pass rate is our goal. We're going to go with that. 80% of the people that fell on parallel. The thing is, if any of y'all know about the parallel, there's only so much you can do as an instructor to teach someone how to do the parallel. We can give you the points to look at, but that is it. It is 100% about the way that you can control the tractor and the trailer. If you do offset, we can have a monkey out there within 2 months doing an offset, just because there are certain points that you have to do, and it's not very hard at all. But parallel is a crazy game in itself. So after that, even when they're offered to aim for 75-80%, they continuously push back. And now at that point in time, you're not only messing with everything else that's going on, you're directly messing with the money that I'm out here doing this for. And now let's not forget the good old cameras. So we had 5 trucks in the yard. We had the sleeper truck, that was my primary truck that I always used to take my driving in. We had another sleeper truck over there that was used specifically just for the pre-trip. The in-cab inspection mainly, just all those. We had the other 2 day cabs, which were primarily used. We had one that was solely used just for maneuvers. The other one sometimes got used for maneuvers, and it also got used for in-cab. And then we had a Class B box truck. No big deal. That was the 5 trucks that we had. Now, all of these trucks had a camera in it. So essentially, upper management, after most of this stuff had already happened, upper management would come out there and they would, quote unquote, go through and do a camera audit. Well, tell me how come all the audits in the trucks would take about usually 30 seconds to a minute. Just make sure they're powered on, make sure they have a working audio, blah, 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 blah. Well, my truck, though, would always have the laptop pulled out on it. So we didn't have the typical incident cameras like the majority of you all probably have. We just had a cheap little, an owner-operator camera would go over there, rolls 24/7 when the key is on, and you can pull the audio back at any point in time, the audio and the video. So to me, it felt like an invasion of privacy. It felt like, the Big Brother is always running upon because they can come over here at any point in time and they can pull my footage from the last month and a half. And again, I'm not worried about it. I don't say anything on camera. I don't do anything on camera. But it's just one of those, like, what are you looking for? Like, at this point in time, do I now have a target on my back? Am I overthinking this or something? It just drove me crazy, though. It was almost like I was, like, under a damn magnifying glass is what it was like. So, maybe I'm overthinking it, maybe I wasn't, but to me, it just drove me crazy every single time because I seen it with my own eyes. They were just being extremely invasive. That's the best word for it. And now the other big one. This one sounds terrible, and I'm crossing the border on this one as far as what I can and cannot say. But what I can say is we have some people that come in here who are entirely unmotivated. So again, since we are a state college, at that point in time we have unemployment grants. So we have some people who come in here from unemployment and they go through the program. Now I'm not saying that everybody on unemployment, is faulty or anything, by no means. We've had some guys come through there on unemployment that they're here for great reasons. They do a wonderful job. But there are a few that fall through the cracks to where they come over here just because it is a checkbox. Unemployment says if you don't do something, we're going to take your unemployment away from you. So they come over there, they pick, some little goal that they think they can go after, whether it be welding, driving a truck, whatever. They go to some kind of program, and here they are. So we have so many people that come through the doors to where, it's like, hey, bud, you want to come over and do your pre-trip? No, I got it, man. I do it at home. Hey, man, you out driving? No, man, I don't really want to go driving today, man. And then they just waste all this time and everything. So we get, later on in the course, and they're still doing terrible. And, it's like, hey, is so-and-so going to go drive today? Nah, man, he don't want to go drive. Then you start hearing the rumors. It's like, oh, yeah, man, so-and-so said they was only over here just because unemployment's going to cut them off there and do something. It's like, what? Like, good Lord. We can't turn it in. I mean, if we do, nothing happens. So, I mean, it's not even worth it anymore. But at that point in time, we have them guys there who go against our numbers. Luckily, the school does their part to where it doesn't hurt our little fancy 97% that we use. But overall, we have people here who are just, milking the system, man, for what it is. And it's extremely unmotivating in the sense to where I still have to take this person out. We still have to let them use the truck, do the backing and everything else, because we can get in trouble if we don't. But my whole thing is we're literally wasting the time on someone who doesn't want to be here, and we're taking that time and the resources away from someone else who does want to be here, and they're trying to use this to change their life. It's just, to me, it's not fair, and it drives me crazy. Make sure to check out our Discord, check the description below. But I would say hands down the toughest part is watching students struggle who clearly just are not cut out for trucking. And the biggest thing is, if trucking is not for you, that's fine. That is entirely fine. Electrical, I would never be an electrician. It's just not for me. I am way too afraid of being shocked with any kind of electricity, but that's beside the point. The whole thing is, by the end of the first week, I can usually get a good little handle on who I think is going to make it and who isn't. But because of the whole state laws and education laws and everything else, I can't even possibly redirect them to any careers that might be better for them. Like, hey, maybe Class B, bud, would be better for you because you have trouble with the trailer. I can't legally say that. Maybe they just can't drive at all. They just do not have the basic fundamentals of driving. And I can't be like, driving just ain't for you, bud. Like, Uber might not even work. Why don't we explore, maybe HVAC or electrical, welding, industrial maintenance, something else? I cannot legally say anything to any of them. But the thing is, I have to watch you struggle for 4 more weeks whenever I knew 4 weeks ago that you weren't going to make it. And you know how bad that sucks, man, whenever somebody gets so down on themselves. And they're just like, dude, this just isn't for me. And I want to agree. I want to scream from the rooftop. Be like, dude, you were 100% correct, but I can't. Legally, I cannot. I have to sit here and be like, nah, bud, it's all right, man. You got this shit, man. Just keep at it, man. There's a few more things you can do. Lying through my damn teeth, man, for everything that I know isn't going to work. So me, man, we've tried to have the conversation with the school and everything else about, like if we have somebody who comes in here on week 1 and they just cannot do it, why can't we just have them talk to you about welding? It's like, no, we can't do that. Dude, it is so heartbreaking to watch them fail over and over and over again. And we're just going to say the test costs $75, what we're going to call it. I don't want to give it out exact numbers to pinpoint what state that I'm in. But again, we're going to say $75 for your test. So that's $75 you had to keep paying over and over and over again every time. And you only get 3 tests with us. And at that point in time, after your second one, you have to pay a certain fee on top of that as well, which is about 2.5-3 times more than what the actual test itself costs. So it's just terrible, man, to keep on watching them fail over and over again, wasting their money, whenever I knew weeks ago that they were just going to be wasting their money, as bad as that sounds. So in all of that right there is 100% why I am walking away. I love training everyone. I love the students that came through the doors and everything. I had so much fun doing it, and I am so proud of the ones that I worked with. But in the end, the red tape, the bureaucracy, and the politics got to be way too much. On a lighter note though, I would like to say deeply from the bottom of my heart, thank y'all for 200 subs. I honestly didn't know that, any of these videos would be like, anybody watch them or anything else. But dude, y'all have absolutely killed the video that I made not too long ago. 6,000 views on one of them, 200 subs right now, and the views keep going up every single day. So I appreciate the hell out of each and every single one of y'all. If y'all like these unscripted videos, give me a like, give me a damn comment, give me something at all to let me know, because in case y'all haven't noticed, I am a rambler and a half and I'll talk way too damn much. So sometimes scripts and bullet points kind of tend to reel me back in and keep me on track. one more video in the books here. So if this story resonated with you at all, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more real talk like this. And also, don't forget to join our Discord. We've created a space to hang out, talk about trucking, and support each other. Got about 200 members in there right now, I want to say. The one thing we all know is, man, truckers love to gossip and it's boring as hell out there on the road. So hey, hop on in there, get up some chat, everything else. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, and I'd love to have you along for the ride.